just where are we at with the ADP process and
That was my
payroll?
next one.
How much time do you have?
We got all night.
Okay, well, ADP is a disaster. If I could get rid of it tomorrow, I would. Because the amount of time it takes that was supposedly supposed to decrease the amount of work in my office was a farce. It's taken twice that, if not more, because it's taken my payroll clerk all 40 hours every week since he started, plus me working additionally on top of it. So it's now like a full-time and a half job. There are far too many errors for me to feel comfortable continuing to use it. And it's not by any means whatsoever from lack of communication with ADP due to the things that we need it to do that we were told it could do, and now all of a sudden it's not, and it can't. So we are now having to backtrack and recalculate and pay again multiple employees several times over for things that have not been calculated correctly, have not been added, things that should have been working from the beginning and never have. On top of the reports not being accurate.
So in the conversations that I've had with several of the clerks in different departments, the employee's pay is correct there. But when it's transferred to your
Employees'
office,
pay is correct where?
on their screen where they're approving hours.
Their
and-
hours may be correct, but does not mean their pay is correct.
No,
Because I can
no,
give
no,
you-
no, I did, their time cards, their hours worked, vacation time, sick time that they want to take, those
Yes, their hours are correct. That does not mean their pay is correct.
So where,
Where's the discrepancy?
Yeah.
That's a great question. There are CDLs that aren't being added. There are shift differentials not being added. There are longevity issues not being added. There's EMT pay not being added. And then on top of that, you have some of the correct deductions being taken out sometimes, and sometimes they don't get taken out. Depending on whether or not it was sick leave sellback was a complete and total disaster because there was longevity added and then PERS was coming out of sick leave sellback, which it's not supposed to because it's not workable hours, and that quote unquote wasn't fixable according to ADP, which I think is a load of crap if I do say so myself. But at this point, there's nothing we can do to fix it. So we have to refund employees for PERS that shouldn't have been taken out to begin with. And then on top of that, we've had continuing issues with payouts because PERS is being taken out of those when it shouldn't be. We have other issues with reporting. Our OPNF report that is supposed to pull our police and fire pensions do not include police and fire, so I have to build those reports from scratch. Our OPERS report does include police and fire, which shouldn't because they don't contribute to OPERS, they contribute to OPNF, so I have to build those reports from scratch. On top of the fact the reports that generate from the payroll run are incorrect, which means I have all of those lines to continue to go through and verify. Half of those calculations aren't right, if not more than that. And then on top of that, you have Jeff, who is every single day going through correcting errors that shouldn't have been an error to begin with. Because we were told repeatedly that things would be fine, things would be added, things would work. We were told, we set up, I mean, it took us hours to set up these wage rate programs that were supposedly supposed to make it easy for CDL drivers to get their CDL pay. I don't think a single CDL driver has gotten CDL pay the way they were supposed to. Not to include the EMTs, which for whatever reason, worked the very first pay and has not worked since. And they can't give us a reason as to why.
has ADP come on site?
They will not. I have asked multiple times. The mayor has asked. They will not.
And the reason is,
They don't do that. So yeah, if I could get rid of it tomorrow, I absolutely would.
is it a software issue between New World and ADP?
No, it has nothing to do with New World because I haven't even had the opportunity to try and input anything into New World because the reports are so wrong. I mean, taxes are not being calculated correctly. Deductions are not being calculated correctly. When you have people who have GL splits between 3 or 4 or 6 different GLs for their wages and their benefits and their taxes, I have to go through and recalculate to verify that every single one of those amounts is right, and that's never right. I had one employee with 216 lines of transactions that I had to go through and correct. One employee. I spent 14 hours in one day going through that report, and I think today I may be halfway through it. 14 hours was the 30th.
So do we need to get, is Jeff in the meetings with you, with ADP, or is it
Yeah.
just?
And Jeff will tell you the exact same thing. By all means, please, anyone come up and ask. Talk to Jeff and he will tell you the exact same thing. He is just as frustrated. He came in August. We were already going through the transition into ADP. I taught him as much of New World's payroll as I could because he needed to do payroll while we were transitioning. And even Jeff, who has not even learned the entire payroll process through New World, looked at me and said, I want to go back to that. Someone who has experience with ADP, who has done it before multiple times, and it's because it's an absolute disaster.
So why, I'm not understanding, we're not the only municipality that has ADP.
Then find me one that can do the exact same thing that we're doing. Because every time I try and get in contact with someone, they either tell me that they can't get me that information, or there's nowhere for me to find it. I go onto the bridge or whatever ADP has that's supposedly supposed to be the community forum, and you look in the Ohio group, and there's literally no one in there. There is not a single person that I can find to reach out to, or that ADP is going to give me because they quote unquote can't give out that information.
I'm just going to have a couple comments. One is, she's correct when she says it's a disaster. If she's looking for somewhere to blame, or somebody to blame, I think all she has to do is look in the mirror of when this started, and her not being part of the process from the beginning, and then telling us it was tested before it was rolled out.
I never said it was tested.
I emailed ADP this morning. The lady that's the head of our implementation team.
Who we don't even have contact with anymore because implementation is over.
She wasn't aware of Marion having any issues. She sent me some emails later today that she reached out to the payroll team to get their feedback. No issues were brought up to them. The payroll account manager has spent many calls assisting Jeff with payrolls. The big challenge is that Jeff and Miranda constantly ask for changes to the calculations that were previously set up according to their request, tested and reviewed. So when we talk about ADP, I'm not here to defend them. They're not here to defend themselves, but it works in 30,000 other places in America and works quite well. So why Marion, Ohio, being our history of the problems that we've had in that office, but yet we're to believe it's ADP's problem. And I'm here to apologize to all of these people that work for us that can't get the paycheck right. Or sometimes they weren't sure they were going to get the paycheck the next day to begin with. Look, at some point, you have to take responsibility. And if this isn't working, then let's hear some solutions.
The solution is to get rid of it.
Yeah.
We're proceeding with transition to a free nation.
Quiet.
You do it, we want to attack you with it.
So what I'm hearing consistently throughout this from ADP is it's kind of like garbage in, garbage out, right? If you put in the wrong rates in the beginning, they're not going to be right. And when they're
Explain
trying to
to
get
me-
back a hold of her to correct these things and can't get a hold of her, or try for days on end and end up emailing me because they can't get a hold of her,
When did that
that's
happen?
a problem.
When did
I
that
can go
happen?
back and get you specific,
That'd be great.
but I can get specific. So, like I said, I can't sit here and listen to this whole ADP thing and have it all be blamed on ADP. Whenever we start something new, there's going to be issues with it. There always is. But we have to do our part on this end, and consistently, for the past several years, we haven't been doing that in that office, and it continues today.
Do me a favor, calculate time and a half for $30.78.
I don't have a calculator.
I'm not the auditor.
It's $40.16.
So, knowing that we have all these problems and everything needs to be worked out, I'm just gonna say, why was your office closed for the last 2 weeks?
When was my office closed?
Well,
My office has been closed when City Hall was closed. My office was not closed at any other point.
Friday it was closed.
City Hall was closed Friday.
No, City Hall wasn't closed on Friday.
Okay, well, unfortunately, I didn't have the staff to open the office because literally everyone took the time off, so it was closed.
Well, I don't know. I've worked in finance my whole entire career, and the last week of a month, and the last week of a year, it has always been no vacation, no time off, all hands are on deck. That's just the way it's always been. Every office or business I've worked with, because those are the critical times of the year, and the month, for that matter. Closing out one month, beginning with another month. Closing out the year and beginning with the new year. And especially on a Friday when there's a payroll that's not right and nobody can get hold of you. And my phone started blowing up at 7:30 in the morning.
So did mine, which is why I was up.
I'm on council. I'm not in the auditor's office.
I don't know what to tell you. Give them my number.
Is there anybody else that wants to make a comment or has a question?
Does,
Yeah,
If you're-
come up.
Please come up here and state your name and your address, please.
Keith Bryce, I work for City of Marion, live at 3645 Marion Bucyrus Road. Does ADP take care of health savings account? Does ADP take care of deferred comp?
No.
Okay. I haven't had a deposit in my health savings account for 2 months.
That was taken care of
I don't
by-
believe deferred comp's been deposited for the last 2 months.
HSA should be taken care of. That's done by Amy upstairs.
Okay.
Depending on which Ohio deferred comp was paid last week. So that may take some time to get in there, but it was paid before the end of the year.
Is that a monthly or
Yes, it's a
A quarter.
per pay.
it's per pay? So if they haven't had anything deposited since,
I got my statement for November and nothing was deposited through November. I haven't had one for December yet.
so that's a loss of revenue.
I mean, is everybody else having that problem also?
Well, we see checks us for the time.
And then another question is, who's keeping track of our occurring vacation, our sick time, and all that? I mean, how are you gonna figure that out? Because that, we haven't been showed the vacation we've got since October. You know, how's that gonna be straightened out?
That's being worked on this week.
Sounds like it hasn't been
It
resolved.
hasn't been great. I mean, I'm a union vice president, Steve's the president, and, you know, we've got complaints every week, you know. You know, these guys are coming in, plowing snow, the big snow, week or the weekend before Christmas, or maybe 2 weekends before Christmas, guys had 20 hours overtime, expecting to have it for Christmas. You know, and they didn't get their money till what? Friday, day after Christmas?
Friday, the 26th, the day after Christmas.
You know, and then you guys gonna want these guys to come in and plow snow and stuff, when they know they're not gonna get paid. You got a bunch of young guys, you know, they can't even come up to a meeting. You think they're gonna come in on overtime when they're not getting paid?
Sorry about that. I know that doesn't put money in the bank.
So who is tracking PTO and vacation time?
We
It's
are.
being done by the internal auditor right now.
By the internal auditor?
We are.
It's been 7 months since the transition, and we have had to keep track because E-Suites is no longer being used, and we stopped accruing in the E-Suites. I have like 60-something days of sick leave. I've had like 33, 34 days of vacation. I've had to keep track and, at home for the last 7 months, keep track.
Will you guys make sure you go up to the podium so we can get all this on the mic for the minutes, please?
I think we have 8 pending grievances right now, or 8 grievances, 10 now, that have been filed by the unions because of payroll issues. And when we see them, we're like, yeah, you're right, and we send them on to the auditor's office to try to get it taken care of. And I want to go back to one thing. We wouldn't even be talking about ADP if back historically, we would have had more than one payroll clerk, or more than one person that knew how to do payroll. So our payroll clerk up and quit, and it's like, okay, Miranda, do you have somebody as a backup, like we told you to get somebody trained, so you had at least 2 people in the office to be able to do payroll? Nope. So it fell back on her again. And great, I bet she's busy as all get out, but a lot of it's because she pulls it on herself. And otherwise, we had to find something. I had mentioned going to Clemens Nelson and having them come in and do it in the interim. She didn't want to do that, so we ended up with ADP.
I recall having interviews for payroll clerks, at which point the mayor asked me why I was bothering to interview if we were going with ADP. Because the entire purpose of interviewing was to fill that position and not have to transition to another department, not have to transition to a third party. And I was instructed to stop because ADP was coming, and within a week it was brought to council.
We were trying to relieve pressure off of your office because of everything else that was overwhelming you. So by the time we hired
So
somebody.
relieve pressure by putting in a transition.
Steve Norris, City of Marion, worked for the City of Marion Sewer Treatment Plant. President asked me, Local 1158. We represent sanitation, recycling, street department, central garage mechanics, transit department, wastewater operators, plant maintenance, and sewer maintenance, street maintenance. Yet none of our checks have been correct since this started. And the big thing about the, especially the accrual information, somebody mentioned 10 grievances. To file a grievance, you have to prove or show where the union contract was broken. The accrual information, there's no contract on that. There's nothing in the contract with ASME and the City of Marion. But it is in the city handbook. The city's own contract. Every pay period, there will be a running balance remaining sick leave, comp time, vacation, holiday. None of that has been on ours since E-Suite shut down in October. Now you've got people using vacation, accruing vacation. Everybody's got to have to keep track of that, their own. Same with sick, they accrue sick every pay. If they use a sick day or an hour, everything. They sell back, not sell back, but they can convert 2 weeks of sick leave into administrative personal leave. Yeah, when's this all gonna be tallied up, totaled up, corrected up? And yeah, I've had people, what's our W-2s gonna look like?
I don't even talk about that.
And like Keith, my vice president, said, you know, people have called me. Yeah, my first call Friday was at 5:45. Why am I in here on the weekend plowing? And I just said, nah, you don't even think like that. Don't even think like that.
And we can't write manual checks. It all has to go through ADP.
If I write manual checks, I might as well go back to how I was doing payroll before.
Do we need to hire a staff person to help you in your office?
Yeah, payroll clerk.
I thought we had a payroll clerk.
I have an administrative assistant who's supposed to do ADP in 20 hours a week.
No, that was a clerk position. That is the payroll. Council made that a clerk 2 position for payroll.
Yes, I'm aware. I want a payroll clerk who does nothing but payroll and is not supposed to be catching everything else on top of doing payroll.
And what else does he do?
He does a little bit of everything. He takes care of OPERS and OPNF. He does, he answers the phones. He takes care of people that come into the office. He does payroll. He does everything.
Well, I believe that the payroll clerk had a private office at one point so that they could focus on payroll and OPERS and all that other stuff. And the person that was sitting at the front desk was the person that's no longer sitting there, but now is in the payroll office.
Yes, and the reason they removed is because the position that was created as administrative assistant, auditor's office, meant to do the responsibilities of an administrative assistant and a part-time payroll clerk. It is not a part-time job to do payroll.
Hi, my name is Mike Phillips. Employee of the fire department here in Marion for the past 30 years and 26 days. I'm going to be retiring on the 11th, the 12th. The 11th will be my last day.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I have some concerns, though, because she's gone over the payroll errors, and I've got them too. And according to my math, you still owe me $29, so I'm going to ask you to recalculate those past 3-4 checks, and I'll challenge you to tell me where I went wrong figuring it out, because it ain't my job to figure out the paychecks. But Miranda and I have communicated about my retirement and the things that I need, information I need from her. She's communicated very well up to a point, and then it kind of fell apart. And one of those things is drop contributions to OPNF that have been made since August. So to date, I got zeros on those. She assured me that it's been paid, but I still don't see that on my account. That's a concern.
Do you see them on your, like, can you go onto your OPERS account and look at it?
Yeah, I can log into OPNF and look at it, and it's not there. It's zeros from August to date
Even on your account?
on my account.
But you're being told that it's been paid?
Like I said, she assured me that those are paid. They're not there. That's a concern. I'll wait and see. I also have a 457 account, the deferred comp account. There hasn't been a deposit to that since 11/7. I called Jenny Haney at Buckeye Deferred Comp at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and she said there haven't been any deposits since 11/7. My last deposit was posted 11/17. So from then to now, the money that comes out of my check, which is coming out of my check, every pay, is not being deposited in my 457 account. That's costing me interest. That's my pay. That's what I work for. And now I'm going to retire, and you're costing me money because the money isn't there. And she called you, you didn't answer her. She texted you, and you didn't answer her. So I'm asking, where's my money? What's the answer?
It's in the payroll account right now.
Why isn't it in my account?
Because in order for me to make those payments, I have to get reports into New World, and I can't. That's part of the
This is since the
problem.
beginning of November.
Yeah, I know.
So you're costing me money. I'm not happy about that. We got young guys that are working. They're gonna suffer the same thing their whole career. Because there's gonna be late payments and they're not gonna get interest. That adds up over time. You're a math expert, you know that. You know, to just sit there and shrug your shoulders at it, that's garbage. You're
Instead of
affecting all
shrugging
of
my
us.
shoulders.
By not paying it, that's the way I take it. So, you know, we're not happy about payroll mistakes. You know, I don't care about ADP. What I care about is correct checks, because that's why I work. And I expect it to be correct every time I get a check, and not to have to sit down and do the math over my past 3 checks, and I can't come up with a balance. You know, I see that you still owe me a little bit of money. You know, why is my longevity not correct? It's been the same way for a long time. It didn't change. So you're the one in charge. That's why we're here talking to you. But, you know, I'm going to retire. I have that drop account I mentioned. So within that account is some money that is available to me if it's rolled over to another, like my 457 out of the drop retirement account. There's almost $40,000 in there that I can have deposited in my account if it gets done within 30 days of my separation. But the way the money's handled, and the money's not even deposited, if I don't get it in that 30 days, OP&F tells me I won't get it at all. I'll just get a tax credit for it. Well, tax credits don't buy me anything. So, I'm gonna ask you to get it together. Get my money in there. Get everybody's money in there. Get the paychecks right. I don't wanna hear about ADP. That's not gonna pay anybody's bills. Thank you.
Since somebody mentioned the W-2s, and I have the knowledge I think I should present, it's back on Tuesday, December 23rd, an email was sent to Miranda reminding her that ER health costs will need to be put on the W-2 since you don't have ADP benefits or ACA. You would be responsible for creating a worksheet and putting the amounts for the year. It needs to go in and it gives some directions, and it says that you could add these amounts to get the amounts on their W-2s for the end of the year. I followed up on that email this morning also. And I got an email at 9:09 this morning from Marcia Hicks saying that she did not see anything has been run to have this updated for the W-2s yet. So again, it's a reoccurring theme that they get an email, they don't respond to it, they don't answer it, and they don't take care of what the email was sent about. That's my opinion.
Does anybody have any solutions? Can we meet with ADP? Administration, can we call Ms. Hicks or whoever and see if we can set something up?
Absolutely, we can reach out to them. But again, it usually comes back to something here that we would have to fix on our end that I haven't been able to fix yet.
State your name, please.
Kimberly Mayer, 890 Gephardt Street. I do not work for the city of Marion. I'm just a resident. All this is very troubling. And I'm looking at you, Mayor. I'm hearing you blame the auditor. What are you going to do? You're the mayor. Okay? You used to be the police chief. So are you qualified to be the mayor? Because you're pointing fingers at her as in she's not qualified to do her job. I know I vote a lot of times, but someone's not needs to be held responsible. And you're not going to just sit there and point the finger to her, because it sounds like she is screaming to you, telling you it's ADP. And if you say yourself you can't get ADP,
Good evening and welcome to the Watchmen's Report. I'm Cody Higley, and tonight we're joined as always by Jason Foreman, and a special guest is Pam Larkin, who is the representative on council for Marion's second ward, and she just recently started her term in office here on January 1st. So Pam, welcome back to the Watchmen's Report.
Well, thanks for having me again.
Yeah, so how was the swearing in ceremony? Was that a fun event there on New Year's Day?
Yeah, it went fast because we had the meeting and everything afterwards, so it went pretty fast.
Now, did you invite friends and family to attend and take photos and all that sort of thing, or were you there just strictly for business?
I had my son and daughter-in-law and my grandson there, or my granddaughter there.
Yeah, it looks, that's a nice thing, and I think pretty much everybody dressed up, except for one person. That person never dresses up. Probably at the wedding, I could imagine what the attire was, when that person got married, probably wearing the exact same outfit. But yeah, everybody else, kind of went a little bit higher for that event, so that's good. And then, like you said, after the swearing in portion, you guys passed the quarterly budget for 2026 by a vote of 8-1. So, were you feeling good about that, Pam?
Yeah, because now everybody will get paid, or everybody should get paid.
Yeah, right. So that'll give the city enough time to submit their plan, plan of action to the auditor of state for this whole fiscal caution process. And then when it comes to March, April, then by that point, hopefully they'll have everything finalized for the full year's budget. So doing the quarterly budget will enable them to continue in operation for the first quarter of 2026. And the amount is based on that original projected 2026 budget. Then they did the target of 10% cuts, and then they did the additional cuts. So that's what the budget that they're actually working on. We've talked about that before, but we probably should restate it here because there's been some people out there. There was confusion by a couple members council at the end of 2025 saying, "Oh, what budget are we going to base this on?" Well, it's the revised projected budget for 2026.
Yeah.
That's what the quarterly budget is based upon. So that was done on New Year's Day. And then we had committee meetings, which were this past Monday. Kind of the big issue that came up was in finance committee. And we talked about this with Councilman Ralph Smith last night. So we'll hash it out here again because it is a big issue. You have people who are not getting their paychecks on time. Their paychecks are incorrect as far as wages and benefits and all sorts of mistakes. So it all revolves around the transition of the city's payroll processing software to ADP, which is the world's largest provider of payroll processing software. Number one in the world, 140,000 government entities that are much larger.
I've deployed it in companies that have 100,000 employees. So there's that.
Yeah. So it's not some fly by night operation. ADP is an industry leader. So there's been a lot of problems, as you all should be aware. If you watched our show with Councilman Smith, if you watched the recording or the live stream of Marion City Council's Finance Committee the other night, and it's a big issue. There's been a lot of complaints. I think we're up to 10 union grievances that have been filed with the ASME local that represents Marion City employees. So Pam, you were in attendance. Even though you're not a member of Finance Committee, you were in attendance. You are well aware. You watched what went down between the Finance Committee Chair, Twyla Lang, Auditor, Marion City Auditor, Miranda McGinnis, and also the Mayor of the City of Marion, Bill Collins. What were your takeaways from that exchange that went on, I don't know, probably a half an hour? It was quite a thing.
Well, it kind of boiled down to he said, she said. But if she was saying one thing and then Collins was saying, no, I got a hold of ADP and they said this. So, I mean, believe in him a little bit more because of him talking to ADP about it. But if we could get a meeting between them and the administration, then we need to get it worked out. Because these guys that were at the meeting, they have busted their butts with all the snow scraping and everything else. And if they're not getting paid for it, that's not fair to them.
Right. Now, they mentioned at the end of that exchange on Monday night that they were going to reach out to ADP to schedule a meeting. Now, I don't know if that means that it would be an in-person where somebody from ADP would come on site and meet with the mayor, the auditor, whoever else, or if it would be like a Zoom call or just a telephone call, like a conference call. Have you heard anything, Pam, as far as if that meeting has been scheduled?
Well, we're supposed to have a special meeting Monday at 5:30.
With ADP?
Well, I'm not sure whether it's with ADP or just about the auditors. I'm not.
Okay. So it's going to be a special meeting outside of the regular session of council?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it going to be a closed session just with you, like an executive session, or is it going to be an open and public meeting? Have you heard?
No, I haven't. Let's see if I can. I just got it written down that it's 5:30 Monday.
Okay, so it's going to be before.
Yeah,
so the
before
regular session
council.
of council is scheduled for 6:30, so they're going to allocate an hour as a special session, which may possibly be an executive session and closed to the public.
Yeah, Monday night at 5:30, special meeting, January 12th.
Okay. Well, maybe maybe that one will be public. So if so, they should be broadcasting it on Facebook, I would imagine. And if any citizens out there would like to attend that meeting, it sounds like it's going to be open to the public. But yeah, that's a very important issue, like you said, Pam. If you are working, you expect to get paid. And again, this is a little bit more of a sticky situation because you do have government workers who are represented by public sector unions. So you got to make sure that you are extra careful because you don't want to get yourself caught up in any type of labor law claims or violations that would implicate the city against the union. So stay tuned for that. Now, the other thing I think that's kind of crucial, Pam, and get your thoughts on this. The deadline to have the W-2 forms. So those are the IRS forms that are sent out to all workers, salaried and hourly workers in the United States by the employer, that lists all your year to date or yearly earnings for the prior year so that you can file those with your federal income tax returns. And the question is, the deadline for the employers to get those W-2 forms out is January 31st.
Yep.
Are you confident that the Marion City Auditor will have those W-2 forms out by January 31st? And then the follow-up to that question is, do you think that if she does get them out by January 31st, are you confident that they will be accurate?
Well, she better hurry up and start on it if she hasn't already, because she doesn't have much time. It's the 8th already. And if everybody's complaining now about the stuff not being right on their paycheck or on their pay stubs, how are they going to know whether it's right or not? And you've got, I mean, they could get in trouble for filing their taxes and having it not be right.
Right. Oh, yeah, you hate to laugh, Pam, but
I know.
Sometimes you just gotta laugh at the madness and the chaos in the world. The only way to get through it sometimes without going mad. Yeah, I don't know. That's an even stickier situation potentially. And if you had some city employees that get in trouble or they file an incorrect W-2 and they should have been entitled to more of a refund or something like that. And then because of the incorrect information, they don't get the refund that they should have. Ooh, this could be really bad. So the hope.
You've got some people that's getting ready to retire, and if they don't have their money into their account, they're losing interest and everything else on that money.
Right. Right. So there was, again, about a half an hour, maybe longer. It might have been 45 minutes. I don't know. It went on and on and on and on. And you said, rightly so, that it was kind of a he said, she said. Now, to give a little bit of the backstory, and we went over all this last night with Councilman Smith. ADP, again, the world's largest provider of software for payroll processing. The city contracted with ADP to handle its payroll processing back in February of 2025. The following month, they had a kickoff event. So ADP representatives come down, talk with Auditor Miranda McGinnis. I think that the former budget director was at that meeting. That was Tacey Courtright, and probably some other people. I would hope so. But they have this kickoff event. They state that it's going to take approximately 12 weeks to go live. So the target would have been June, July to go live with ADP. That process, when you're doing a conversion, a system conversion, you got to upload data into ADP. As Jason stated last night, you have to make sure you have all your modules, how you want them, permissions, the whole works. I'm not an IT geek. Jay, you want to jump in here and just kind of say what high level?
You got it right, man. High level is you just got to make sure that everything's where it's supposed to be. And that's a good window, 12 weeks. Now, what we saw and was admitted to on live feed was that it wasn't tested before it went actually live, and they cut out the other software piece that they were using. And I've been going back and forth with some people that do payroll that are, in the citizenry, and it's looking pretty bad, highly concerning.
Yeah, so not only did they not meet the June or July target date after that 12 weeks, they didn't go live until November 2nd, I think was the official date that has been
I know it
mentioned.
was sometime in November.
Yeah. And almost immediately, you had, I think the first paychecks didn't go out in time. And then there was discussions on if there were any overdraft fees, would the city be reimbursing them? And council said yes, if this mistake causes any harm to any city employee with overdraft or something like that, penalties, they would take care of them. I don't know. Did you ever hear, did they have to reimburse any of those?
I haven't heard anything about that, but that's one thing that I have on my list to check out and see
Yeah,
if
I
there's
know.
been fines and fees and everything else.
I know that it was brought up, but I can't recall if there was any follow-up to that discussion on whether or not anybody did suffer those. But then it comes up here since then that these paychecks haven't been correct.
Yeah.
And one of the city workers that spoke on Monday night said, yeah, my pay has been wrong ever since November 2nd. So if that's across the board, Pam, I mean, is it across the board, or is it just a handful of city employees that haven't had an accurate pay stub since November 2nd?
I don't know. All I know is the ones that came up and were talking Monday night. But they were talking, and they said that there's quite a few of them. So they didn't give a number, but I'm sure if there's one, but I'm not that up on. Well, I mean,
It seems to be pretty widespread from what I'm understanding. I don't have an exact number, but I'm sure I'm sure Pam will get it. I mean, she's been amazing at, being extremely transparent, by the way. We appreciate that. That's awesome.
Well, the citizens need to know what's going on. Now, I know there's some things that needs kept quiet, but
right. And there's a lot of stuff going on in the background too that can't really be discussed. We've been asked not to discuss certain things that we're privy to, and when it's time, we will discuss it. But until that time, we will not be talking about it.
Yeah. So
you have
that's,
to put everything in to make it work. And I don't know if she's put everything in that she was supposed to put in, because she was talking the one week that New World has to take this out of the checks, and then ADP takes this out of the checks, and that doesn't sound right to me.
Twyla
yeah,
just commented and said that City Hall doesn't open until 5:30, so the special meeting on Monday will be at 5:45 p.m. It's open to the public, and the agenda has been posted to the city website.
Okay.
if you got a moment, Jay, pull that up. I'd like to see what the agenda for the special meeting is. That'll be,
Yeah, give me just a
I
minute. I
assume,
gotta log into a.
yeah, I assume that it's related to the payroll issues, but let's just
I'm
confirm
sure.
it for folks. But yeah, so we have all these issues, and then Miranda McGinnis comes up at the finance committee meeting on Monday when she's questioned about it, about what's the status with ADP. Uh, Twyla was actually, I think, the one, or maybe Aaron Rollins, that asked her about it. And she said, it's a disaster. It's a disaster, Pam. It's
Yeah,
a disaster in January, heading into W-2 and tax season. It's a disaster.
well, Twyla's good about keeping track of things. She's real good on the finance.
Yeah, I have to go in on that a little bit here. When we came on the scene fully in January of 25, we were fully operational. I approached Twyla very cautiously because I had heard a lot of I'm going to go ahead and call it what they call it, propaganda, because it really is, about how Twyla conducts herself, and it's just not accurate to the way that she actually conducts herself to the citizens. I know she gets a little heated in these meetings, but I would too, honestly. Like, this is just absolutely ridiculous, completely
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah, I would think that anybody that is truly that truly cares about the city, wants to fix the issues, you got to be passionate. I mean,
Yeah.
so many people in today's day and age, confuse passion for like anger,
Right.
and they're two completely different things. I've been accused of being overly passionate sometimes, and again, I wouldn't have it any other way. So, all right. So, Jay, you've got this up here for the special finance committee
I know,
meeting.
right?
Yeah. So let's see, business, retirement funding, an ordinance authorizing the full release of appropriations to retirement funds during the first quarter of fiscal year 2026. And also item number 2, discussion on fixing ADP issues. Well, got to make sure that all the funds for the employees who are retiring this coming fiscal year for 2026, that council has appropriated those funds. So that takes care of item number 1. Now, item number 2, discussion on fixing ADP issues. Does that mean that they have met with or had discussions with ADP representatives? Have we had some progress this week? Twyla, if you're out there, comment and let us know if you guys have had a meeting yet. Because Pam, are you aware of any meeting yet with ADP reps this week?
no, I'm not. But I know Twyla and Collins did say that they were going to try to get a hold of somebody Tuesday after the meeting.
So maybe they did.
Yeah.
Again, Twyla, if you're out there, let us know if there has been a meeting with ADP. Because presumably, when did they call for this meeting to be scheduled? Was this just sent out today, Pam?
Was it today? Yeah.
It was sent to us today. I don't know when it was called for, but it was sent out to the press and things of that nature. It looks like today
Well,
at 2:56 p.m.
it was set up as at the finance committee meeting is when they said that they were going to have the meeting.
Oh.
But I don't think they had the agenda up or anything.
Okay. Yeah, I must have missed that when I was watching.
Yeah, I was having a hard time concentrating after that first 45 minutes of crazy. Like I was like, what is this? I was trying to remember my days of deploying, large scale ADP craziness. And it's really not that bad, guys. Like as long as you do your testing, you got all your stuff in order, there's going to be problems, but problems of this magnitude suggests that testing was either completely ignored or the data was, as Bill used our term, garbage in, garbage out. If you put the wrong data in, you're going to get the wrong data out. It's just how it works. She says the administration has been communicating with ADP, but no meetings between the auditor have taken place yet, and we are aware of as the administration. So yeah, they're getting on it.
They
But
are.
no meetings with the auditor in ADP.
I don't know what exactly that means. I hate to assume, but I know that we've had
So what
issues
the heck are
getting
you supposed
responses.
to do? The auditor is responsible for implementing this and overseeing this this whole thing. So, and that's the other thing. You had some people that were attacking Collins, and there's room for criticism of any politician. So you can sit here and you can criticize some decisions that have been made historically, and I've done it in the past of Bill Collins, and others. And when it's justified, it's justified. Now, attacking him on this issue with payroll, which happened on Monday night, is completely misguided.
Right. Yeah.
It's unwarranted. Unless you want to say that the whole idea of transitioning to ADP came from the administration, was approved by the prior council, and that was wrong, which is pretty much what Miranda McGinnis is saying that she doesn't want this system. And then there was also criticism that she had a prior payroll specialist who quit.
Right.
And then that position was backfilled by an auditor's administrative assistant, I think was the title. Which that position, Miranda is saying, is expected to not only do payroll, but to kind of be there as a catch-all for other duties in the office.
Yeah.
And she's saying that that's not enough, that payroll requires somebody that's all they do. So if you look at their job description, it's literally just going to be handle the payroll for the city of Marion.
Well, they should have somebody that does that.
Right. I mean, with the crazy software issues that they have had since at least we can document to, the year after it was implemented with New World in 2010, well documented. I think we've killed that horse and proven that way beyond a reasonable doubt. When they're getting ready to switch over to a new financial system, from what I understand. It was suggested by the auditor of state. Now you're dealing with 3 software systems. I don't think that a regular payroll clerk is, quite honestly, qualified to handle a migration of this magnitude. I think that requires a special systems analyst position, or somebody that is schooled and well educated in how to deal with this, because this is a bomb waiting to blow up again. And I got to go on the record and say that from an IT standpoint, looking at the timeline of all the New World stuff, which by the way was largely unknown to the Collins administration, it was well hidden, by call it propaganda. That seems to be the word that they use, for us. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it back at them. Propaganda. This is well documented, guys. This happened, and this is just a serious concern from an IT standpoint, and probably from a financial standpoint, Cody. I mean, you can weigh in on that, but they need to be watching this migration to the new system with the old system, moving everything over where it needs to go so they don't have a bunch of crazy going on that they have to fix and band-aid and use spreadsheets and workarounds. And it needs to be very transparent, and it needs to happen correctly.
Are you talking about the transition to ADP?
I'm
or what
talking
they're-
about they're getting ready to throw in, they're getting ready to throw in a new software system coming up here soon. So now you'll be dealing with migrating financial information over to the new system that's going to replace New World. And then you've got ADP in the mix. And that is a little bit trickier. Actually, it's a lot trickier, especially with all the issues that are documented with the New World system. Man, it's risky. So my question is, as an IT person, is the city's IT staff qualified to oversee this? And if not, what are they going to do? Like,
I think you know the answer to that.
It's going to be a bigger mess than what it is now.
Yeah,
it really is. And then you're going to have, it's going to be, the funds are going to be appropriated by council to contract with the new provider. And then who is going to have to actually implement the system? The auditor.
Yeah.
The auditor's going to
auditor and the
do it.
vendor, right? With the oversight of IT, which should have happened in the ADP issue, by the way. IT should be a hawk on these software changes, period. I don't care what anybody says.
We
We're never going to,
hear that IT manager's name
right.
come up.
We're never going to get an IT person on this
Do you
show that's
ever
going to
hear
go
it,
on
Pam?
record.
No.
As
We're
far
never
as,
going to get,
by God, he came in to say that when it was brought up under the cybersecurity and the necessity of some additional safeguards, he was there for that. And he said,
Right.
oh, there's no issues with New World. All these rumors out there about New World being compromised, there's no legitimacy to them. Well, he
right.
was there to say that, to cover his ass, because he's been in that position ever since he was hired under the Schertzer administration, the Democratic Schertzer administration. He was hired back in 2014. So he has a vested interest, in my personal opinion, to say that, oh, no, New World, there's no issues with New World. But
Yeah.
when we're talking about the transition to ADP, where was he?
I don't know.
Why wasn't he coming there and talking about some of the processes of the conversion or the transition to ADP, his opinion on, as an IT professional, on any issues that they were having? He should have been, I would think, in communication and part of the process with the ADP representatives.
Absolutely.
And maybe he has been, but we haven't heard anything about that. Does that concern you, Pam? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I'm going to go ahead, Pam. I'm sorry.
Well, he's got a big office. It's loaded with stuff. So, I mean, he keeps busy, and I think he did help when they first started it, but Miranda seems to just want to do things by herself.
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
yes,
that's the really sucky part of this, Pam, is that, as Jason said, you're going to transition, replace New World, and get to something that actually functions correctly. But you guys can tee that ball up and say, here you go. Here's one that's going to actually be good. Here's one that's going to work. But she's going to have to oversee the implementation of it.
Yeah.
And will she do it?
Well,
And
they need to tell her flat out, you've got to work with somebody to get this to work right.
Right. I mean, we've mentioned this before, but I would highly recommend, you know, I know they've been discussing and looking at options for a forensic IT audit. I would recommend that that firm be also contracted to help oversee the transition of the software, because these people are absolute they're way more qualified than I am to handle something like that. Definitely. They would be able to identify problems before they became a bomb that they have to band-aid and tape up and things of that nature. And I know that there's firms out there that will do that. I mean, it's going to come at a cost, of course, but would you rather pay up front or pay 15 years down the road when all the stuff explodes again and it all comes to light? Because I'm going to be watching this very hard, and I'll go and then I'll shut up. We have had no IT experts come in comments. We have had no IT experts on my personal page, the watch page, any other groups that have said that we're crazy or we're conspiracy theorists. I've got hundreds of them between the watch page and my personal page, just those two, hundreds of them globally that have, I mean, they started popping out last week on my personal page talking about, you're absolutely right. I know I'm absolutely right, because I did it for a living and I had to know these things. You know what I mean? Like, these are things that should be known by an IT professional. And when you start seeing things like corrupted data being called out in city council by Veritas, not a citizen, not a council person, you know, not anybody pointing fingers, you know, a forensic accounting firm saying there's reconciliation issues, corruption issues, we're seeing mismatch problems that don't make any sense. These are absolute evidence for a failed, corrupt system that's just not reliable. I don't even know if the data that we're getting out of it now is reliable. I don't even think that they do, honestly.
Well, we've got to get this mess straightened out, or the state's going
Right.
to come in and they're going to say, okay, that's it. We're taking over because you guys can't handle it yourself.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the prospects are. Mainly because of that office.
A lot
I
of
mean,
communication problems.
I hate to be, yeah, I hate to be cynical and say, oh, this is not going to get anywhere. But again, is the plan that's submitted by the city going to be accepted? That's one question. By the auditor state, is it going to be accepted? And then as the city continues to navigate the process, are you going to have the work and the collaboration from the Marion city auditor? I'm not confident in that because the track record is so horrible, Pam.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we need to start, some of these guys, man, they got to start working together. I know Pam and I have had a lot of heart-to-heart talks about, you know, people working together despite their political parties, and I love her perspective on that. And I mean, honestly, Twyla and most of the rest of them too in the new council, and Mr. Collins has been very forthcoming with me with the things that he can tell me. A lot of these things, the way that things are moving, I can kind of gauge what's going on. They don't have to tell me anything. When we see the auditor of state coming in and saying this and that about the software and the issues, and I can kind of guess that the auditor of state is that, you know, we saw the GL Ledger thing that we had predicted, talked to Ralph and Twyla and them about months before. We had suspected that these financial controls were off or not functioning or not configured, and all of them have come true. And now we're hearing that there were multiple modules that were purchased that weren't even being used. So that also came true. So I'm waiting on a records request from the auditor's office on all the modules that were purchased for the city of Marion under the New World contract, and all the logs for the troubleshooting and customer contact stuff and all that stuff. So they got to start being transparent in that office. It's just unacceptable. I think you guys both agree with that.
Yeah. Well, and everybody's got to stop fighting each other and start working together to make it work. I mean, you can't fight each other and expect things to work out.
Right. So at this point, Pam, I know that Mayor Collins brought that up, saying, well, if the auditor's looking for somebody to blame, she only needs to look in a mirror.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that statement?
From what I've heard and what I've been checking into, it just seems like she wants to do things herself and not have anybody help her.
Or not do anything and
Yeah.
and still
Yeah.
not have anybody help her.
Yeah.
And what happens, because she made it pretty clear on Monday night that she even said, I think when Twyla, I think it was, Twyla said, you need to do this, or something to that effect. I forget. Maybe you can pull that clip up, or we can find where it is, Jay, because I think that's a really good zinger there. And Miranda says, not if I have anything to say about it.
Yeah.
And she said it kind of like, oh no, you didn't. Like, she's sitting there acting like she's got power. She can get rid of ADP, even though the mayor and council like paid for it. They contracted for it. But she's the auditor. So if she says that ADP is out, then it's out. What do you think's going to happen if that happens, Pam?
Well, if you don't set anything up the way it's supposed to be set up, no, it's not going to work. So does that mean if they get something else, she's not going to set it up right and it's still not going to work? I mean,
She wants to go back to the old one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be, if she digs her heels in and like refuses to do anything with ADP, like what's going to happen? Has there been discussions about this yet?
Well, no, right now I think everybody's just trying to hope that everything gets worked out by January 31st for the W-2s.
Maybe you guys can like change it to where like Chelsea Troiano is now in charge of payroll. I don't know if that's possible, but she's like the budget director. So maybe you could just say the budget director is now in charge of payroll, and if it's if there's an issue with that within the Ohio Revised Code, maybe you could say that it'll just be signed off on or approved. Payroll will be approved by the auditor, but it'll actually be handled by the budget director. Like that might be a solution to get around the militancy or the incompetence of the Marion City Auditor. I don't know.
Well, I like when Twyla said everybody has lanes that they have to stay in. They can't jump lanes and that's true, but somebody needs to jump a lane and get into her lane and see what's going on.
Her lane zigzags. It's up and down, side to side, backwards. That's her lane.
But when
I don't know.
When people's hurting because they're not getting their pay right, that's not right.
Well, hey, that might be a way to solve the budget issues. Maybe you just stop paying city workers. Get them to work for free, and then we don't have to have all these salary and benefit expenditures. Hey, maybe she's a genius. Maybe that's what she's thinking. She's like, I'll just claim that it's the system and we just won't pay you. No?
I don't think
No
that'll.
takers? Like I said, you got to laugh about these things.
Yeah, it's
Jay, I think
crazy.
he's looking for that clip or that
There's several
particular.
mentions of getting rid of ADP, so I'm trying to figure out which one we're
It's
looking
towards
for.
the end. It's
It's
towards the end.
end.
Yeah, I think it was. When did that whole segment end? Like 7:30 or something. I think it started at 6:40, ended at like 7:30 ish. But it was like one of the last. She got the last word in, I believe, or pretty damn close to it.
Yeah.
But while you're looking for that, is there any other like hot button issues, Pam, that come to mind within this? I mean, there's never a dull moment, you know.
No, there's not.
Hey, what do you think about the county being broke too?
I heard that. Now, I was under the understanding that the county was doing pretty good, and now all of a sudden they're not. So
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we just consolidate governments. This is like one government entity in Marion County. And maybe you have two dysfunctional ones and maybe they'll make like one not so dysfunctional one. I don't know. Like I'm just thinking outside the box here.
well, we need to get somebody in there that has got a little bit more experience or training or something.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Did you find it?
I think so. I'm gonna roll it. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
That I have to do by myself because someone else is
Might be a
already
couple
doing
minutes in.
payroll. So either I do it or no one does it, and then you're really getting behind on whether or not those bills are gonna get paid.
We've reached out to you several times and asked if we could get assistance for you, several times.
And
you,
how am I gonna
you
get
told us
assistance?
no every
How am I
time.
gonna get assistance if we don't have the budget for it? Because as I recall in the budget meeting that we've had, we were told repeatedly for 2 departments that we don't have the budget for staff. So let's get assistance but not give me the money to pay for it.
You need to address that with the mayor, the budget, and council.
I'm addressing it right now, where the mayor, the budget, and council are.
But this has been going on since last year, so do we need to work something into the 26 budget to get this resolved?
No, we need to get rid of ADP.
Not gonna happen.
It will if I have anything to say about it.
It will if I have anything to say about it.
Man. He's getting defiant, Pam.
Yeah.
What do we do?
That's something that needs to be addressed. I mean, geez.
What did you get yourself into, Pam?
Right.
Well, somebody needs to step up and say, hey, things haven't been working the way they have been. We need to change some stuff.
Amen. I give you credit. I give you a lot of props, Pam, for stepping into the fire. You know, you were just enjoying an easy life there on the northwest side of Marion, and then you decided to come in to this chaos. But
I think she wants to fix stuff. I think that's what she's up to. Yep.
Right. And all joking aside, I'll say it again. I think that once this process, it's going to be painful. It's going to be tough. It's been painful. It's been tough. But once you get through that tunnel and you see the light and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you get to the end of the tunnel, and I do think that it'll be a lot better on the other side.
Yeah.
Growing pains. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just got to like get through this, work through all the problems, the kinks, and that sort of thing. But then I think it will be. I think at the end of this process, it'll be better. But you just got to, like Pam says, you got to work together. Right, Pam?
Yeah.
Unity in a good a good mindset and a good attitude. That's what it takes, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it just tackle one thing at a time.
Jay,
And
do you have any other topics here for the evening?
I'm
no,
still, I'm still, comprehending the Monday night meeting. I think I've watched it 4 or 5 times now. I know Pam said she watched it, what, 5 times?
yeah,
Yeah, it's just crazy. So it is on the YouTube channel. It's on MarionWatch.com. And of course, for a few more days anyway, it'll be on the city's website. We might start broadcasting live the city meetings again so we can have some collaboration in the comments. We'll see about that.
Now, Pam, I don't have it up, and Jay probably doesn't have it convenient, but um, what committee assignments did you get?
streets and sewers, and gosh, I got it written down.
I might have it.
I know.
I did a post with it, but I can't
That's what
remember.
I'm fishing for right now.
Too many little books with stuff in it. Uh,
Oh, we know all about that. We've got thousands of documents,
the streets and
terabytes of
sewers,
data.
municipal services, parks and recreation, and regional planning.
Is there any of those that you are particularly passionate about, or those committee assignments? Or are they all kind of the same level of interest, same level of passion at this point?
Well, when they asked me, they says, "Is there any certain committee you want to be on?" I says, "No," because I says, "Just put me on something and I'll do the best I can."
Right.
So they're all important. Just, but I just want to go around and introduce myself to all the offices and everything's and say, "Hey, here I am. If you need anything or you contact me," because I stress that all the time. You got to have communication.
Right. Yeah, and they've already got the city's website updated with your personal contact information, as
Yeah.
well as the other new members of council. So if you are looking to get a hold of Pam, have any questions, comments, concerns that you would like to share with her, then reach out to her. Does it just have your telephone number, email, or both? You know,
Probably both.
both.
I think so, yeah.
Because you get assigned a city email, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is the only way to do it. I mean, Lord knows you wouldn't want to use your personal email for city business. In fact, I don't think that's legal. Um, but yeah, so here's all the committee assignments for this year's council. So you can see Pam was assigned, as she stated, she's chair of Regional Planning Committee, and she's a member of the Municipal Services, Parks and Recreation Committee, as well as Streets and Sewers Committee. That Streets and Sewers Committee is probably going to be the most active, I would imagine, out
Yeah.
of the three. Um, and the sewers in particular, I mean, streets are very important as well. Um, because really, when it comes down to it, what is more important and more valid for a local government, uh, as far as their duties, than the infrastructure? So, streets and sewers being a primary component of that. So, should be some good solid activities in those committees here coming up in 2026. So We look forward to that, and we look forward to seeing what you can do with it, Pam.
I'm going to do my best.
It's all
Oh,
we
we
can
have no
do.
doubt. Yeah.
Right. It's all we can do. Well, any closing comments, Pam, for the viewers out there?
You know, the only thing is communicate with everybody and work together. It's the only way we're going to get everything done.
Amen. Amen. Jay, any closing comments?
I concur with Pam. I mean, the administration, for the most part, since they got comfortable with us, have been extremely transparent in their communications with us, to the extent they can currently, of course. But I mean, I think we got a good council. I think they can do a lot. I think we got to put the politics aside with the parties and focus on the issues at hand. And until the couple that, you know, continue to do that, stop doing that, I think we're going to have issues. But I think it's largely solved now.
Yeah.
I agree. I think the tone, the atmosphere, even though, you know, you had the drama between Finance Committee and Miranda McGinnis, throw in there Mayor Bill Collins, but there wasn't any drama within Finance Committee, which that is a change.
Yeah.
That's a huge change because just a few weeks ago, you had Finance Committee that was Twyla, Rollins, and Ratliff, and refused to move any discussion, vote to move the budget on, had some kind of not screaming, but harsh words.
Tantrums.
That's gone. That's gone.
Yeah.
So that's a huge win. And that's the type of interaction I think that's going to be critical is you can have debate, you can have disagreement on policy, but too often we've kind of seen the wrench throwing. That was brought up during that last session of council
Yeah.
for the 2025 term, and it was very much warranted. It was wrench throwing. It was throwing wrenches in the process, in the budget. Instead of coming with solutions and having legitimate discussions and suggestions, it was wrench throwing. It was deliberate to try to sabotage, because all the time you're talking out of one side of your mouth saying, the city's broke, the city's broke. Then now you're talking out of the other side of your mouth saying, oh, we should be spending more for this program, this service, spending. Come on. What is that other than wrench throwing? So
Right.
we don't have to deal with that. It doesn't look like for the time being. I think that even though he's a Democrat, I think Scott Kreider is a pragmatist. I think that he's seems to be courteous and respectful.
Yeah.
So I think that's the type of Democrat that you want. I think if you're going to have to deal with a Democrat, you want one that is not a wrench thrower. You want one that's courteous, respectful, and a pragmatist.
Well,
How rare that is.
I don't expect everybody to agree on everything, but that's how you get things worked out is discussion and throw out ideas and
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. So, folks, Monday up at City Hall, second floor at 5:45, special meeting of Marion City Council, going to discuss the ADP issues. So if you're a city worker, you want to speak your mind, be sure to attend. Let them know how it has impacted you. Ask them questions on how they're going to resolve the issue. Go up there and give Miranda McGinnis your thoughts and opinions. That way, maybe something good will come of it, and the situation will be fixed. So that's Monday at 5:45.
I might go ahead and rebroadcast that. I'll go ahead and plan for that.
Yeah, and then at 7 or at 6:30 in the same room, second floor of City Hall, will be the regular session of Marion City Council. So not sure what's on the agenda for that or if it's been posted yet. Was it up there, Jay?
I think it's up there. It's in my email somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah, before we go off here, we'll just throw that up there, see what's on there.
There it goes. All right.
Okay, so
Information
to
Systems
repeal
Committee.
to repeal the abolishment of the or the elimination of the Information Systems Committee. So they're moving forward with reestablishing that committee, which will be oversight of information technology systems in the city of Marion. Much needed.
Yeah.
Never should have been disbanded in the first place.
Yeah.
So that was questionable. Yeah, you agree with that, Pam?
Yeah.
I think. Resolution authorizing the auditor to transfer appropriated fund monies to Parks Transit. That's just standard transfer appropriations. I assume on the schedule, since it's for 2026, it'll be that quarterly portion of the projected budget. Authorizing the carry forward of previously approved appropriations. Again, pretty standard stuff at this point in the year for the budget. Retirement funding, we already talked about that. There are a number of city employees who are retiring, so we want to make sure that they get the full amount since we had that quarterly budget for 2026. They can't potentially release all those retirement funds for the entire year because they only approved a quarterly budget. So that will be doing that. And then that's it.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
fairly limited agenda for the regular session of council on Monday, but you never know, if you bring in that special meeting that's going to be held right before it, there could be additional discussion that comes up
Yeah.
that during the regular meeting. So be sure to check it out. Jay's going to apparently be broadcasting like a simulcast type thing.
Right. The citizens have been asking for it, and I know that Pam, before the show, she was talking about how she likes to read comments, and several of the other counselors have expressed interest in the rebroadcast. So I think we might try to do that to the extent we can. Sometimes we won't be able to, but I'll make the best effort.
Yeah, and that's another good reminder, Jay, is Jay set up a YouTube channel for Marion Watch,
Yeah.
and it's how he started uploading all the city council meetings and these shows. So he's got these
Right.
shows and Marion City Council meetings, committee meetings.
They're on the website too.
Are published there. So it's a great resource if you need to go back in time, because the city of Marion only broadcasts their live stream of council meetings on Facebook.
Right.
Well, Facebook, I think, purges all those videos after a month or something like that.
Something like that, 15,
They
16, I
go
don't know how
away
many
after
days.
like a month.
Yeah.
So if you're wanting to go back in time as like an archive and do research and say, hey, you know, what happened? Like, when was ADP approved? You can't do it. But now that we are archiving these on YouTube and on MarionWatch.com, you'll be able to go there and watch the old meetings. And I think that's a fantastic resource.
Yeah, it
Don't
is.
you? Yeah.
It is.
So check it out. Check out the meeting coming up on Monday. If you have any questions for Marion's councilman for the second ward, Pam Larkin, hit her up. She's a great lady, easy to talk to, and she's got the right attitude and mindset. She wants to help the people in her city. So be sure to take advantage of that great resource. And for Jason Foreman, for our special guest, Pam Larkin, I'm Cody Higley, and you've been watching the Watchmen's Report. Now remember, folks, Watchman is always vigilant. We need more vigilance in the world.
Right.
So until next time, have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.